Each month, restaurant hospitality will put the spotlight on rising stars, up and coming independent restaurant leaders that represent a next generation. We'll speak with these operators and chefs about the future of independent restaurants, menu and culinary innovations, operational adaptations, lessons learned, and more. And is sponsored by Smithfield Culinary. In this edition of Rising Stars, we speak with Sarabhayavanija, owner of Montclair Hospitality Group based in New Jersey. The group operates the Ani Ramen House concept, with 7 units open and 4 more restaurants scheduled to open this year. We think luck star is rising. Hear what he has to say about the group's expansion.
So Luck, tell us a little bit about, just briefly how you moved into the recovery phase for your company.
Recovery phase was an interesting one because when you shut your restaurants down and go to a community-based restaurant and a nonprofit, it's like relaunching a completely different concept. And you would think that going back to what we normally did prior to COVID, which is operating full-service restaurants, we'd be pros at it because that's what we were doing. However, it felt like opening a third concept or a third style service because we became a QSR now. So we went from a full-service restaurant to becoming almost more like this, I would say soup kitchen, but a facility where we would prep meals. And going back into growth phase, we couldn't jump back into full-service restaurants. So we were a quick style restaurant. Primarily, we were 100% dine-in before, 0 takeout delivery prior to COVID.
Right.
And going back in at the end of August, it was the opposite. It was 100% takeout delivery and 0 dine-in, right?
Yeah.
We slowly started to get diners in. It was more outdoor seating. And then we were allowed to have 25% capacity in a 40-seat restaurant that's 10 guests inside. So again, it's still 95% primarily takeout and delivery. So that was a challenge for us. Our team was built for a full-service restaurant, hostess, busser, server, food runner, expo, front of house manager, multiple shifts. And now we pivoted to a turn and burn QSR that was able to, instead of being able to serve 40 guests in an hour at a ramen house, we'd be able to serve 100 guests now. So it was quite a challenging converting our full service restaurants to QSRs for takeout and delivery. We ran that for about 4 to 5 months, and the restrictions started loosening up. Then we got 50%, now 75%. So we saw it go from 100% takeout delivery, 90, 80, 70, 60. We're about almost 50-50 now.
Okay.
And we're about to relaunch as a full service restaurant again and limit our menu because our restaurants aren't designed to serve 40 to 70 guests inside a restaurant and still do 100 takeout orders in an hour.
Right.
We have to have twice the size of the kitchen. So it's been quite a challenge, but it's one that our team they've really stepped up to the plate and they've knocked it out. So we're very proud of them.
So you feel that the delivery will continue, that demand is going to continue even once
delivery will continue because habits have changed and convenience is something that's not going away. As much as people would love to come to our restaurants, wait 30, 45 minutes to wait in line, have a meal, leaving to and from their home could be a 3-hour experience, 2.5 hours. Now you can order your meal while you're at work and have that same meal. Yes, it's going to lose some sort of quality or consistency, and you're going to lose the atmosphere and the hospitality and the experience and dining with friends. But if you were looking to just go with your family or your spouse or partner or by yourself, you can get a similar quality meal at home, plan for the day, have a nice 30, 40 meal at home, and save those 2+ hours now. So as much as I want to believe that we're going to go back to just 100% dine-in, I think the world has changed, habits have changed, and we have to adapt to it.
So when you say you're going to cut back your menu, what do you mean? Because you're known for, of course, ramen, but also your pork buns are praised. And you got a rave review in the New York Times when you opened in 2015. I look back and they loved your pork buns. So how will your menu be impacted by this shift?
Prior to COVID, we had about 20 items, give or take. We're now down to our top 12 or 14. And our handmade gyoza, some of our specialty items that were labor intensive, we had to cut out. We didn't have enough employees to offer a full menu throughout while offering takeout delivery on third-party platforms. So now that our customers are coming back into the restaurant, it's kind of our way of saying, thank you for sticking by us. Now we're going to be able to release our full menu again, We're bringing back all the house favorites, but there's going to have to be a hybrid model approach where if you're dining in, you're going to have access to 100% of our menu. If
Right.
you're doing take on delivery, you're going to have only 50% those items that we can make a little bit faster and ensure the quality and consistency of our items.
Yeah.
There's also going to be times where there are blackout times. It's hard for me to imagine that we're ever going to be able to offer a take-out delivery Thursday through Sunday between 6 and 8:30. That's our prime time. You know, our kitchen has to be able to feed the guests that were patient enough to wait online to dine in our restaurant to have a full experience. At the end of the day, we're still a full-service restaurant. Food is the heart and soul of all of our restaurants, but they're the intangibles of our decor, our atmosphere, the energy, our hospitality that can't be replaced in a brown paper bag, a sticker, a stamp, and a thank you note.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, so tell us a little bit about your plans for growth. You have, I think you just opened in Newark, right? Was that number 7?
That's our Cranford location just opened.
Oh, okay.
We opened that during the pandemic. That was slated for a March opening. COVID hit. We decided, let's just open in 2021 because it was our largest restaurant to date, 85 seats, 3,500 square feet. But then we saw how our other restaurants were performing and how much the community supported us in getting takeout and delivery. So we decided to push the Cranford opening up, open during the pandemic, which is what a roller coaster that was. Finding staff, getting the word out there during times where everyone is at home with the stay-at-home orders. We did it. It was very nerve-wracking for the first 90 days. We thought we made a mistake, and then it just made a hard right. All of a sudden, really, I would say the Cranford community, Westfield, the surrounding towns started to get hold that we opened, and people were driving to get takeout, which is unbelievable. You know, we couldn't get enough drivers for delivery in that area.
Wow.
Normally, you open in a town and you just sign up on all the platforms, the Uber Eats, the Seamless, the Grubhubs, and you'll have drivers waiting. That doesn't exist in some of the smaller suburbs. So as many platforms that we tried to join, they didn't have enough drivers. So we saw some of our regulars drive from 15, 20, 30 minutes away to get takeout. And that was a humbling experience. So we decided if people are coming to us now, when the world turns back on and people get back into schools, offices, and they start commuting again, we should be ready. The ball has never been in our court. I say our meaning restaurateur, operators, chefs, the tenant side. It's always been the landlord's court. For the first time in who knows how many years, we actually have favorable terms. We're working with landlords now that understand that times have changed, and we're being viewed as partners now as opposed to tenants that they can easily replace. Every landlord that we've signed a deal with has been unbelievable. I've never had this much interaction from the small mom and pop that owns maybe 1 or 2 buildings in town, all the way up to someone like Brookfield Place. The relationships that we've formed in the past 6 months truly feels more of a partnership than it does as a landlord and tenant relationship.
That's great. Yeah.
It's great. So we've got favorable deals. We've gotten landlords that are working with us from A to Z for our launch to make sure that we're set up for success. And like I said, it's the silver lining in this story is that operators that were able to withstand the storm, that got help, whether it be EIDL, PPP, or the new RF grant. Quick sidebar, thank you to the IRC for getting that done, because the RF grant is going to save a lot of restaurants all over the US. And we were approved for a few of our locations for that as well too. Those that were able to withstand the storm and maintain were able to scale and grow and take this as an opportunity to sign deals that will set them up for success for the next 10 years.
So you have 4 planned to open this year, right?
We have 7 planned, 7 on the books. And I think 4 will open this year and 3 will open in 2022, correct?
All Ani Ramen House, or are you thinking about some other concepts?
All Ani Ramen House that we'll speak about right now. We have our New Brunswick location opening up next within the next 4 to 6 weeks. After New Brunswick, we're going to be going into Hudson Eats in Brookfield Place. I'm so excited about that one. The co-tenancy there is second to none.
That's New York City, right?
In New York City,
That's
correct.
in New York City.
And then we're going to Westchester. We're going to Larchmont and Tarrytown. And then we just finalized a deal in Princeton, New Jersey as well too. So
Great.
take it back. We have five openings this year and about another 3 or 4 next year.
So, I mean, with all of that growth, though, how are you managing staffing? Because that seems to be the big challenge for operators right now. Even if they are able to grow, it's finding the people to actually work in these new restaurants. So how are you dealing with that?
You know what? I'm stuck in two places because I see a lot of people complain about staffing, and I understand, but it comes down to two things. One, you have to pay to play in this game. The wages are self-correcting. I just saw a post the other day, McDonald's is starting at $18 an hour. And that's crazy to me because they were just paying 9 or 10 a year ago. And now all of a sudden they're able to pay $18. That's a different story that I won't get into. But for the smaller mom and pop restaurants, it's a lot more difficult because you run at tighter margins and they don't have that budget to pay $16, $17, $19 an hour for staff. So it's much more difficult. We're blessed enough that we have a great core group of individuals that in our restaurants that have a great work-life balance. So when we open up a new restaurant, we're able to pull the best, which we consider the best or the second best in each department, and open up a restaurant. So we can take a lead server, a lead hostess, a lead busser, expo, pull a manager, and we can pick and play and hire a couple pieces to complement an opening team as opposed to starting from scratch. And the more successful restaurants you have, it's not just about the product, it's really about the people, right? If you have a core group of people, if you work on protecting your culture, people want to work for you. So when, in this day and age, when we open a restaurant, we can rely on our staff. We give a referral program. We ask our regulars. We had a post the other day, people thought we were crazy. We were paying $100 gift cards for all of our customers if you refer an employee.
Wow.
And $500 if you refer a manager.
Wow,
And
that's huge.
It's huge, but to me, that makes a lot more sense to give the money and a bowl of ramen and some buns back to your guests and your loyal following, as opposed to spending money on all the hiring platforms out there that they're not even looking. Like, why not get a referral from someone that already works with us, enjoys working there, and they'll be compensated for it as well.
So during the pandemic, you guys innovated with some interesting concepts that were really meant for the community kitchen, model. Yeah. That the Rock City Pizza and Bang Bang Chicken, are those brands that will live on, do you think, now that we're reopening?
There's Bang Bang Chicken has a really, really special place in my heart. That's my mother's recipe. That comes from her restaurant, Gayan. And that's something we're looking at right now. We love New Jersey. We love New York. We love Connecticut, Pennsylvania. We don't see ourselves really expanding past really the Northeast. And once we hit our top 25 favorite downtowns, we're not going to be going down to Miami or Chicago or LA or Vegas. We're going to stay to the area that we know and love that supported us. And instead of having one concept there, the goal would be to get something like a Gayan or a Bang Bang Chicken and duplicate our success in what we do with Ramen House and operate in the similar towns that have shown support since, the past 7 years already. So right. We'd love to scale Gayan, which is a Thai rotisserie chicken concept. We'd like to get into a sushi concept that we're developing now that we feel that New Jersey really needs an affordable, I would say, high quality sushi restaurant. It's an oxymoron, but they exist out there. It just doesn't exist in a lot in the Northeast.
I think one of your restaurants has you called it a sushi speakeasy. Is that the one you mean?
We have an amazing partnership with Sushi by Boo, and David Boo created a special menu, and that's an omakase menu where you come and you sit you have a 30-minute option or a 1 hour, and you go through either 12 all the way up to 18 pieces of sushi, and you're in the hands of the chef. This would be a different concept, a spin-off where you would cater to takeout and delivery. You could order a la carte as well.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I in the New York Times review, there was a quote from you that mentioned, this was again back in 2015, you said there's a difference between being a great chef and being a great restaurant, and that your goal is to really make Ani Ramen House a great restaurant. Can you explain what you meant by that?
I feel like that was saying a little bit out of context, because when she was asking me, am I a chef? And I said, no, all the restaurants that my family dine at and we go out, we're creatures of habit. As much as we support all of our restaurants in Jersey, it's hard not to go to these exciting new concepts and go to the next best chef that's out there. And we do. We visit all types of restaurants. I mean, everything you can imagine, we're there. Casual to fine dining, we absolutely love. And the hardest part about our industry and scaling is that you want to do something new. You want to do something fun. Opening a restaurant with a team, that's fun. That's what I do. I love business. I love scaling company. I love building teams. However, there's this new excitement about having a new concept that you can't just replicate or duplicate. And that's where chefs get to really show all their creative sides. And I'm a little envious of a lot of chef owner operators because they get to open one concept, really perfect it, and they have an opportunity to create a brand new concept in the same city or a new city. That wasn't our vision, and that's not our goal. We have different paths. So I was just saying, for Ani Ramen House, it's difficult to not only have a great chef, because I have a great chef partner, his name is Julian Valencia. From day one, we said, this is our menu. It's 18 items. I know you're going to get bored with this. I know you're going to want to throw 10, 20 more specials and have a new concept the next year. I was like, but our vision here is to really bring our food to all the small downtowns so they don't have to travel 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours to get to us. There's so many towns all over New Jersey, New York, Westchester, Connecticut that deserve to have your everyday ramen house in your downtown, walkable or 5-minute drive. And it was a struggle at first to commit to that, but I wouldn't change a thing. Being consistent and having a great restaurant is completely different than having a one-off concept or having 9 or 10 concepts. That's much harder, in my opinion, to have that, to balance the creativity and the operation side. Operations for me is already challenging as is. I'm going into the Thai restaurant world and doing the rotisserie Thai chicken concept, but that's something I've done before. I've done that my whole life with my mother. I grew up in the Thai restaurant industry, so I know that like the back of my hand. The sushi concept, that's where all the oohs and ahs are now. Now I get to work with new designers. We get to design new stores, new menus, develop new teams. That's the fun part again. So I can say that after 25 years of my career, now I have a little bit of balance of, this is what we do. We stamp out stores. 70% of my workload is here. And the last 2-3 hours of my day, I get to have a little bit of fun, tap into the creative juices again, and start to develop new concepts.
Yes. That's great. It's important for a creative soul to have that outlet. I think some people are creative souls, and chefs usually fall in that category. So thanks for spending the time with me today, and good luck. I hope it goes well, and look forward to hearing more news from Montclair Hospitality Group.
Make sure to check out our next Rising Star, debuting on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And if you know someone who is a rising star, let us know at lisa.jennings, JENNINGS @informa.com.